This is a fireweed, and it's the main plant that came back around my hometown in the land of my father's youth that was all destroyed by Mount St. Helens in 1980. There are many names of it. I call her Princess Luit because of the amazing tribal lore about the volcano that the colonists call Mount St. Helens. My dad grew up there, youngest of 10, spent most of the parts of each year of his childhood in or around a cabin at Spirit Lake. May 18th, 1980, that cabin and all the community there and all of his memories were destroyed. I was born a little bit after that. My name is Seth Patrick Martin. In Korea, I often go by a few different stage names. Seth Mountain, Isan, those are the two main ones. So I play quote-unquote mountain music, and a lot of my identity is wrapped around and grows out of not only mountain music, but growing up in a mountain culture and my love of mountains, real and symbolic. I would say that my art is, when it's at its best, it is almost always kind of dancing around the kind of intersection of politics, culture, and religion, and through history. And so I rarely share any music that isn't rooted in some older type of song or genre, tweaked or changed somehow through my own style or new wording. And I've been walking these dark valleys, trying to find a place called home. And everywhere I laid my head, I felt so cold and all alone. Felt so cold and all alone. Never had a word to say, but I kept talking on and on. I never had a verse to sing until I lost it in your song. I grew up the son of a Southern Baptist pastor in a very rural mountain area, surrounded by a volcano and forests, and we grew up singing hymns and playing bluegrass, and also a lot of John Denver and John Prine. Growing up, my hometown had about 700 people. At the base of this volcano, it's mostly all rural farmers and loggers. And then when I got into university, I met a big, long-bearded Quaker named Bill Jolliffe, and he played old-time music too. And it was the first time I really realized that all the music I grew up with wasn't just part of like a conservative or church culture. He played it, but it all was like radical, and like it was part of like this culture of Woody Guthrie and Pete Seeger and people who were blacklisted by the U.S. government. Originally, the first year or so, I played a lot in mostly foreigner areas, Haebangchang and parts of Itaewon. And then as I got to know more Koreans, I traveled more, and then I also played a lot more with kind of radical peace church and also anti-gentrification and a lot more activist oriented. I've had some jobs that were now suddenly not available, and I've had to not be able to come to Korea for a while because of involvement in different activism and peace work. You know, mountain music has beauty and humor, but also suffering in it, and a lot of songs are about alienation. I go to war, my lover's gone, why do the rich do these things and we have no power? And it's all the same story again and again. Korean music has all of that as well. So when you start playing like Arirang, and you also mix it with like Pretty Sero, like Arirang, Arirang, Horo Arirang, Arirang 고개로 넘어가 보자. 가다가 힘들면 수요가더라도 손잡고 가보자. 같이 가보자. Way down in some valley, in some lonesome place, where the wild birds do whistle and their notes do embrace. Farewell, pretty Sero, I bid bid you adieu, and I'll dream of pretty Sarah wherever I go. It's singing about love of home and being separated and longing for unity of your homeland. Or it's a poor person's song, like, I don't have money. I love this girl. Her parents will never let us be together because I'm poor. And instantly, the melodies, even, like, you can just feel it's like almost part of all this same kind of story. I got my rifle by my side, my powder it is dry. Going across the mountain, Chrissy, don't you cry. Going across the mountain, oh, fare thee well. Going across the mountain, hear my banjo tell. It can feel very limiting, and it can make you want to like pound your head against a brick wall a little bit in frustration, because you get kind of stuck sometimes where you feel like you only have a limited number of sort of acceptable phrases or types you can use in the genre. But the longer you stay with it, the more it rewards you. By sort of losing an obsession with originality, you find something closer to what I would say is a true self. Like when you put yourself under a master craftsman or a craftsperson, several years of that process is you having to humble yourself and repeat the same thing again and again and again. And then after a while, suddenly you're able to speak that language. And it's not so much that you're copying these old songs, but that's how you speak. And you're able to speak with a kind of authority that doesn't come from you so much as it comes from your participation and your acceptance into that huge community across time. Almost all those songs that people sing, there's borrowed phrases that are being tacked on all the time. They're changing the flavor a little bit, but within the structure, there's freedom, right? Kind of a liberation through limits. The limits actually free me if I embrace them in the right way, right? And I don't embrace them to hide or escape from myself. I find myself in trying to really be part of that long conversation.